Hi everyone! Thank you so much for being here. This is the second time we're running the Games Library Night, so it's quite exciting. As you can imagine, all these hours working unpaid. Why not do it again, right? Well, for the ones of you who are here for the first time or the one that don't know us yet, we're Alan and Fede. We are currently the course leader for the Master course in games here at Goldsmith. So if any of you has any question after, just come to us and we can have a chat. Hopefully that will be a good opportunity. So like it happened last time, I would like also to thank you, a couple of people that made this event possible, particularly Eve and Pete, without which contribution probably wouldn't be here tonight. So if we can have a bit of a Thank you so much. Also, as some of you probably have noticed, there's a quite big strike at Goldsmith today. Actually, it's a strike that is involving a lot of universities in the UK. And we just wanted to address it very, very briefly. And we know that it's probably not the best to run an event while there's a strike. And I know that some people probably were a bit upset, but we thought that it was still important to give this event to the students, especially given the topics of inclusivity and things that we really want to discuss and to address tonight. So we decided to still run the event. But that being said, we just want to make you aware that we're really supportive of all our colleagues that really are taking the time off to make their voices heard about things that they would like to change. So even though we're not striking technically, we're really supporting the colleagues that are doing it. So hopefully that the message goes. Now tonight, as you know, we have games, but we also have a lot of talks. 3 talks, a lot of them. We will have Chris, Leon, and Marina giving 3 different talks, but they will all be related to queer topics, because as some of you know, and probably it's the reason why you're here, February is the LGBT plus History Month. So we wanted to conclude these long events, monthly events at Goldsmith by focusing on a queer perspective on games. Speaking of games, we also have quite a good selection of games, some made by our students at different level of progression, and some made by external colleagues and friends and other universities. We just wanted to be able to show a variety of games and to collaborate with as many different people we can. One of my highlights for tonight, it's Tiny Islands, which is the game there in the corner. You make tiny islands, I guess, but there's a twist. If you press P, you can actually print a tiny island on a tiny piece of paper. So, and you can put it on the board there. So after the event, please have a look at it. I think it will be quite nice. We also have Cadence. Is a game made by one of our friends.
It's my flatmate.
He's his flatmate. So we're very objective, as you can see. But this game had a very long development, so we just wanted to support Peter, who has been making this game for many, many years. And it was also one of the first games to come out of Stugan, which is an indie game accelerator that ran a few years ago. So hopefully you will see how much the game has progressed during this time. We also have Bird of Passage, lovely game, very nice story. This is actually made by the contribution of one of the person. Oh, she's here. You can see Madalena there. She's actually working here at Goldsmith. So it was a really nice opportunity to show not just the work of our students, but also the works of the member of staff that are here at Goldsmith. We also have Sonder, which is a lovely game made by Fran, one of my former students at LCC. Hello! It's a really nice game. I really love it. So if you can have a chance to play that after, I think that would be amazing. We also have a few games made by our students here at Goldsmith, in a message done and out by Shantae. Where is Shantae? Hi. And we also have Piece by Piece, which is one of the games we selected from the Global Game Jam 2020 just a few weeks ago. If you're not aware of that, the Global Game Jam is this event that runs everywhere in the world at the same time. And there are sites in London where people can make a game in a weekend. And for the second year in a row, Goldsmith had the largest site in London, which, is quite a good achievement. So a lot of students, a lot of games. We selected this one because we think that it was really interesting, and the themes that we're discussing were something we wanted to show here tonight. We also have quite an unusual game, a sort of alternative controller, emotional emergency kit that you can see here on the side. I'm not going to spoil too much about this, but it's just fresh installed, so maybe during the break you can have a look at it as well. Now, we also have a few other games, so please have a look at them and have a play. We have a lot of students here tonight. Some of them are ambassadors, so if you want, ask them questions, and hopefully they will say good things about the courses, I hope. But so we want to spend a couple of minutes just to talk about some of the things that we do here at Goldsmith. In particular, I'm the course leader for the MA Computer Games Art and Design and the MSc Computer Games Programming. The names are incredibly long. I inherited them, unfortunately, but I think it's clear that the first things I will do is changing them and making it a bit shorter, because I don't remember them. But yeah, the idea is that during those two MA and MSc, for those who will want to attend them, we will have a strong focus on career in the game industry. So we will literally go from idea to career, and it will focus on all the aspects that are necessary to make a game, from design, art, code, and business, which I think it's a part that not many other colleges are including. As part of those two MA and MSc, we also have an internship, which is something that will give you a lot of opportunities for professional growth, but also for personal growth. Of course, we cannot guarantee that it will go well, but we will do our best, and we have a lot of connections with many companies, including AAA companies that in the past have taken many of our students. So if that's something you're interested, and you're interested in working in the game industry from AA to AAA, those might be some courses that might be good for you. Now, I think that for tonight, I've been talking enough, so I will pass the microphone to my colleague Fede, and hopefully.
So yeah, I want to talk just a tiny bit about the MA that I lead, which is MA in Independent Games and Playable Experience Design, which means that it's focused on the independent side of game, the more authorial part of games. We work together as a studio, basically. It's a studio-based practice focused on making you able to create portfolio pieces and hopefully run your own indie studios, but also work on all border kind of places that don't really have a lot to do with games, but they do, because journalism is looking for people that can do interactivity. VR is still a big thing. There's a lot of movie industry as well. If you have seen Bandersnatch, you see what I mean. So basically, the idea here is to study play and study games, why we play as human beings, and how we play and how we make meaning and content through games, and work on that. So basically, if you're interested in the more independent side of games, in the more authorial side of games, you have a vision for what you want to do, that is the place to work, to be. So yeah, well. So as Alan said, this is the LGBTQ History Month, and for that reason, I have selected, and I want to read you a brief thing from Bonnie Ruber, Video Games Have Always Been Queer, which is an amazing book. I genuinely advise you to read it. It's really, really well written. And so, yeah, I'm going for that. I hope it goes well. Video games have always been queer. Even games that appear to have no LGBTQ content can be played queerly, and all games can be interpreted through queer lenses. This is because queerness in video games means more than the representation of LGBTQ characters or same-sex romance. Queerness and video games share a common ethos, the longing to imagine alternative ways of being and to make space within structures of power for resistance through play. From the origins of the medium to the present day and reaching into the future, video game worlds have offered players the opportunity to explore queer experience, queer embodiment, queer affect, and queer design, even when the non-heteronormative and counter-hegemonic implications of these games have been far from obvious. Through new critical perspective, queerness can be discovered in video games, but it can also be brought to games through queer play and queer players, whose choices to engage with games on their own terms and for their own pleasures can profoundly transform the meaning of games and unleash their queer potential. In this way, playing queer, like queer interpretation and queer game design, can be seen as the transformative practice that reframes and remakes games from the inside out. Amidst a dominant games culture that has proven itself to be openly hostile to diversity, the politics of queer play echo outward across games communities, games industry history, the games industry, and into wide-reaching contemporary concerns around identity, marginalization, and agency in digital media. So this is it, and I think I'll leave the word to our beautiful speakers. Thank you.